Hey guys, it's Yui. It's been a while. How are you doing? I hope you're doing really well and staying safe. I just wanted to create a video and I wanted to take the time to thank you for listening to If This Was Game of Thrones and leaving me comments on YouTube, giving me feedback via direct message, and just leaving comments on like my Instagram and stuff. It really means the world. And I'm just so happy you guys like it. It means a lot because it's one of my most favorite songs that I've ever written with Tak. And I wanted to just give you a rundown on like how this song actually came to be. So I had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to sound like, and I was really adamant that this be a piano song. Because up until now we've done a lot of, we've done acoustic versions, but they've been with guitar, and our songs are mainly pop EDM, which is our main music genre. And I love that kind of music. I really like making it. But somewhere inside me I was like, I really want to experiment and I really want to try a slower song. And it was actually quite hard because we're so used to creating a type of song similar to like Not So Hard, which was our previous release. And those songs come a lot easier to us. I think they're just kind of in us. And I'm like, no, I want to do a ballad and like slow it down. And Tak and I had to really work to slow it down. It was actually quite interesting. And you know, we'd think of lines, we'd think of melodies, then I'm like, I want it to be slower, or like that's too wordy, I want it to be more simple. And we had a lot of back and forth, and this was one of the songs, one of the rare songs actually, where Tak and I sat down in the studio together and we wrote it together. Normally it'd be like, you know, he sends me a track or a track with a melody, or I'd send him lyrics and then we kind of put them together afterwards. But this was like, we're starting from scratch, and it was really fun. It took a lot of time and a lot of water because we were singing and talking for hours, but it was actually a really good experience, and it was really fun to just kind of bounce ideas back and forth. And because Tak and I have worked together for so long, we're really quite honest with each other. Like some melody lines I'm like, ooh, I think that's good, we can use that, and Tak's like, no, and I'm like, okay. And you know, sometimes we agree to disagree and stuff, but in the end, when it all comes together, by the time we're releasing it to you guys, we make sure that it's something that we both really love and that we're proud of. So yeah, the studio work was really fun, and I know some of you don't watch Game of Thrones, and I hope you like the song anyways, but that line actually came because the other parts of the song are quite like sad, to be honest. It's quite sad because it's about how from the start of a relationship you don't go into it thinking, oh, this isn't gonna work out. Like, we all go into it with an optimistic view, wanting it to be the best thing in the world. And you know, as Taylor Swift put it, all your relationships are wrong until it's right. Until you find that person, they're all wrong till it's right. So you go into this relationship, and after a while it's not what you thought anymore, and that's okay, that happens. So I was writing about those emotions, and I was realizing it was getting kind of like heavy. And for me, with any song I write, like I do want to kind of explore all the different emotions, whether it's happiness, frustration, sadness, total love, anger, whatever it may be, or maybe it's a combination of different emotions. I want to be able to explore all those things, but a common thread in all of my music that I try to have is that each song has a little sprinkle of either humor or positivity, or just like sparkly things, just something to make it not just completely engulfed in darkness, because I don't think that's the kind of songs I like there to be a light at the end of the tunnel, even if it's really, really, really dim. I like that to be there. So when I thought about that, and I'm like, okay, this is like, I love the lyrics. I think they're very honest, and I hope that they were relatable to you. But I did want to make it, I wanted to add that in there. And then when Tak and I were brainstorming and like just trying out lines, like he was playing the piano and we were blurting things out. Something that Tak and I have in common is we both like a lot of the same TV shows. And Game of Thrones is one of those shows. Like my brother, my husband and I, we like watched, what, season 8 was it? Yeah, I think it was season 8. The last season of Game of Thrones. We all watched it at our house together. And it was like a thing we did weekly. And so because we're both fans of that, we're like, can we incorporate that? Side note, our song Reload, which we released last year, I don't know if you guys watch Schitt's Creek. That's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And there's a character in there named Alexa. She's one of the main characters, and she is so awesome, and I love her. And when we wrote Reload, the kind of attitude and some of the lines were inspired by Alexis. So yeah, we really like to incorporate tidbits and inspiration from TV shows that we both like, into the songs that we write. So then we were like, oh, Game of Thrones. And at first it was kind of like a joke, and we were like saying lines like, I don't even remember. I should really learn to like videotape our music sessions. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. But yeah, we were blurting out lines from the show, like, you know, winter is coming, or like Dracarys and whatnot. And when we finally got to the line, if this was Game of Thrones, I was like, okay, like that actually fits. And the images in my mind kind of started to line up, because the image I had for the song was like despair, sadness, but longing and hopeful at the same time. And when I threw the Game of Thrones in there, I was like, oh, okay, like if this was Game of Thrones, then you die. But I didn't want it to be like you die, like, because that's dark, and that's obviously not what this song is about. It's more about like, well, if this was Game of Thrones, they have immediate consequences for all your bad actions, for betrayal, for mainly betrayal, I think, is used in that show. But if you just do anything bad, there are basically immediate consequences, because it's a lot more black and white in that fantasy world. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, like if this was Game of Thrones, the answer would be simple. Because that's how the show goes. But reality is so much more complicated. Human emotion, human compassion is so much deeper and more difficult than that. It's not just like, you're wrong, goodbye. And maybe that would be easier. I don't know. I felt like that feeling of just being able to let something go because it's wrong isn't always present in this world that we live in. So that comparison to me was really, really interesting. And Tak and I had a good laugh when we came up with that line, and we're like, at first it was like a joke, and we're like, ah, but then we were like playing it and singing, and we're like, do you want to do this? Like, I think this could be a thing. Like, I think this could work, and I really like it. And I think it could be slightly humorous and add a bit of humor and lightheartedness in the midst of some heavy lyrics. And it ended up being the title of our single. So, you know, you never know how things are gonna work out, and that's why the songwriting process can be so interesting and spontaneous. So that is how this song came to be. And I'm really happy with how Tak mastered the song and made it come to life. I think the tempo is exactly where I wanted it to be. The piano and the instruments in the background really, really bring out the emotions of the song. And that balanced with that one line, if this was Game of Thrones, I think it just kind of balances out the sadness and the lightheartedness that I wanted to make sure I have in that song. So that was a really long explanation of how we wrote that song, but I did want to share it because in the past I have gotten comments saying, you know, you guys would like to see more and learn more about how the song's written and what the process was like. So for the next song, I'm going to do my best to remember to film our session so I can have snippets in there for you, because I think that'd be a really fun behind the scenes thing that we can do and share with you, because I really want you to be a part of that thought process. Of course, the end result is the song, and I would love for you to listen to the song over and over again. Please add it to your playlist and share it with your friends. But beyond that, I do want you to know how the song came to be. I think it makes it just that much more relatable, hopefully. And yeah, just to keep you in the loop of what's going through my mind when I'm writing these, because we do put a lot of thought and time into it, and there is always a process. So I'm going to try to be better about sharing that with you. So once again, thank you so much for listening to the song and for all your comments and your emails and everything. I really, really, really appreciate it. As I kind of have said since last year, this music process is not easy, and I do want to be transparent about that. I don't mean to be negative, but it's really, really difficult. Like, there's no formula that you can follow for success, because it's an industry that's always changing, and it's a case-by-case scenario for everybody. And so when I have people like you in my life that take the time to listen to the songs that Tak and I spent a lot of time creating, and then you guys come back and take the time to leave me a comment or shoot me a message or an email, it fills up my heart and makes me smile. And when it gets really hard, you guys remind me of why I'm doing this and why I love it so much. And of course it's the music, but it's also the fact that I get to connect with you through something that was created with Tak and I, and being able to connect on that emotional level and be like, okay, we've both been through this experience, and now we can both just sing about it, and we can also talk about it. Makes me feel less alone, and I hope it makes you feel less alone. And it makes me just so happy to be able to connect through music and lyrics. I think it's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching this incredibly long video, because I did not expect to talk for so long, but apparently I do like talking. So I will talk to you very soon. I'm going to try and send out more of these videos because I like writing emails. I don't know how much you guys like reading emails versus watching videos. Maybe you can just let me know. Reply to the email or leave me a comment on this video. But I'm going to try to do more of these because I think it's a little bit more personal to like see me moving and in person. So have a great day, you guys, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.